This week, we get super pumped about how close we are to the new Superman movie, and we also get to hear Billie's take on the prequel novel, Welcome to Metropolis. We also talk about some of the time that Billie spent at Kansas City Crypticon and Animeverse to get to meet some really cool celebrities and anime voice actors. We also talk about some of the latest movie rumors and news, and so much more. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
That's the emergency alert. This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. Hey guys, Billy here to talk about an extremely crazy opportunity that my beautiful wife Emily and I have. So, we were nominated for this contest called America's Favorite Couple through Variety magazine. And what it is, there's this competition happening where people get online and vote for America's favorite couple. And after 10 days of this voting, if you win $20,000 and an article about you as a couple in an upcoming issue of Variety magazine. So I wanted to get on here and take the opportunity for some of you guys to possibly hear this and ask for your help. If you could go vote, that would be amazing. The voting goes between June 30th and July 10th, and you can vote one time a day, each day between June 30th and July 10th. So if you're hearing this, please go to the website and vote. That would be so amazing. The website is americasfavecouple.org/2025/the-tailors-15. To repeat that, it's americasfavecouple.org/2025/TAYLORS-15. I know it's kind of hard to convey a URL over audio, but that's what it is. americasfavecouple.org/2025/the-tailors-15. If you could give us a vote each day for the next 10 days, that will be so amazing. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for your votes. Please go do it. It would mean a whole lot to us. We really appreciate you. Now back to your regular scheduled program. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And this week we are back to talk about the fun stuff going on out there in the pop culture universe. But before we jump into that, Taylor, what have you been nerding out about this week, man?
This week I've been nerding about my 12th wedding anniversary. I had a good dinner, and yeah, it was nice.
That's awesome. I am nerding out about, let's see, there were a couple of cons this past weekend in Kansas City, and it was cool to go out to them. Both of these cons had a zillion guests. That the Crypticon had a ton of horror guests, and the Anime Fest had a ton of anime and wrestling guests. And it was crazy. I've never expected the line for Christopher Sabat, the voice of Vegeta and All Might and tons of other anime characters. His line was outrageous. I'm not even kidding. Think of the craziest line at Planet Comic Con that you can recall, and it was kind of like that. And I did not expect that at all. I was so glad that when I got there, that's just the first line I went to. And luckily, there were only maybe 20 people ahead of me, but they did have a VIP thing going on. So all the VIP went first, and then the 20 people ahead of me. And that was the longest line I had to wait in all day. I was probably in that line for an hour and 20 minutes, which was crazy. I did not expect that at an anime convention. But the other crazy, crazy line, and you can probably agree with this, was Sting, the wrestler Sting. Oh my gosh.
Is
That
that
was
line
nuts.
nuts?
It was so nuts.
Yeah, he's getting old. I mean, he doesn't really wrestle anymore.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not saying he's decrepit or anything, but
right.
the man's been doing that for a while. It's going to be a rarity after a while to see
Yeah.
him around.
And it is cool that he's still, he's getting older, he's getting gray up there, but he still puts the full makeup on when he goes to these things. So he was
Yeah.
just super cool looking from afar. And who else was there? Kevin Nash was there, and Lex Luger, and a few other bigger names, and a bunch of, probably less big names, but it was a pretty cool event. I liked the size of it. It was big for what it was, but there wasn't really a giant crowded space full of people. There were plenty of
Yeah.
people, but I never felt like sardines, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But man, it was cool I got to meet Zachary Tyler Eisen, that's Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Jack DeSena, that's Sokka, and oh, this woman Linda Young, who's the OG voice of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. That was so cool.
Any of them do voices?
Well, I should say a few of them did do their voices. I didn't have the chance to record anything or anything like that, but she actually did do her Frieza voice because when we took a picture together, she's like, "Do you want to do a Frieza pose?" And she like looked like she was pretending to shoot me, and I was looking scared. And she was like, "I'm going to get you!" Like she, jumped into the Frieza voice. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
It was also funny. She was sitting right next to this young guy who currently in the more current things does Frieza's voice. And at one point they did like a back and forth thing with each other, like I'm Frieza, like back and forth. And at the end of their little fake fight, they were like, maybe we should work together and take over the universe together. Like it was funny and funny to witness and kind of
That's
cool.
funny. It's so weird. That character's so weird to
Oh, I
me.
know. It's also interesting that the original voice is an older woman and the new voice is a younger man, but they both sound practically identical when they're doing the voice.
Yeah, that's nutty.
Over at the Crypticon event, that was fun too. There were tons of guests, but I went through and met a few of them. Warwick Davis, that was really cool. Willow or Wicket from Return of the Jedi, or the Leprechaun, and all kinds of other stuff. Professor Flitwick from Harry Potter. He was super nice, but I could tell the man was so tired. He looked so tired the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so.
And then Diedrich Bader, that was cool. I had him sign a Batman Funko Pop, and he not only did he sign it, but he wrote something like "Prepare to face the hammer of justice," just like he says in the cartoon.
Oh, that's amazing.
And some Walking Dead folks, Princess from The Walking Dead and Abraham from The Walking Dead, aka he was Lex Luthor in the past couple of seasons of Superman and Lois. And I had the chance to tell him how emotional that final episode made me, where they had the little montage in the afterlife, and Tyler Hoechlin playing, Clark goes through and he's saying all these things about love and friendship and family. And there's Lex sitting there and he puts his hand on his shoulder and says forgiveness and keeps walking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that brought tears to my eyes, man. And he was so funny. He's like, he kind of starts cussing. He's like, you better believe that the first time we played through that, I was bawling my effing eyes out. It was so funny to hear him say it. And he's like, the director was like, all right, go with it. We're using that. Go with it. And he was a cool dude. And of course, it was cool to tell them how much The Walking Dead meant to my dad. And they both thought that was nice. And it was just a fun event. And again, both of these are smaller cons. So you don't feel like a pack of sardines. So that's probably my favorite part about these two events. But yeah, it was a good weekend. And I would recommend both of those to anyone next summer.
That's awesome. I'll probably want to go to the anime wrestling one for sure.
Oh yeah, and they just announced, because it ended yesterday, and they made an announcement that next summer it's going to be August 1st through the 3rd or something like that. So it'll be a
Oh,
little
good.
bit further
Warm weather.
back. Yeah, it was awesome, and I was so happy. I knew I personally wasn't there for wrestling, so I was so happy at the turnout of wrestling fans because that meant the lines I wanted to be in would be a little bit shorter.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, hey, let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of news for this week. We know that Ironheart premiered this past week with a 3 episode premiere, and since there's only a 6 total episodes, we're gonna wait till the whole thing is done and we'll kind of talk about it in a week or two. So stay tuned for that. It's been really fun reading some of the speculation online. This is not stuff we've seen because it hasn't happened in the show, but people are talking about, we feel like Mephisto is finally going to come out in this show, which is such an unlikely show.
Yeah, but it makes sense with the hood.
Exactly. And some stuff, went down and all that. And again, we haven't like seen that yet, but after this week, we will have seen all 6 episodes, and maybe that's going to be the case. So
It's awesome.
that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it'll be a good. I feel like it'll be a fun watch. To hold us over before Fantastic Four.
Oh, I know. We're so close.
I know.
We got the Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So pumped.
Did you ever notice that new Jurassic World movie is like the last Harry Potter movie with like the Horcruxes? They have to gather all like the most evil dinosaur DNA. For me, it's like dinosaur.
I didn't think of it that way, but you're right.
I was sitting there, I was like, I feel like I've seen this movie, but with like a different skin. I was like, it looks awesome though. I can't wait to see whatever that dinosaur that looks like an evil giant version of the crazy frog.
Right? Yeah, that's gonna be just from the what little we've seen from the trailers. It at least looks super fun and super action packed, and it's got a great cast. And that's funny. I didn't really think about it the way you just described it, but you're right. They're like gathering all that different DNA, and yeah, it's like
It's
what
funny,
else?
right?
I guess what else can you do with this franchise? I feel like they've already done so much with it.
Well, like that one dinosaur they showed, that there's no way that's a dinosaur. I don't even know how to explain what it looks like. It's they only showed it once, and it looks like its arms are like gorilla arms. It's like it looks like a knuckle dragger almost, and then
Uh-huh.
it has big mouth, and then like this big like goiter thing on its head. It looks like
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it looks terrifying.
Right. I wonder if after this movie, again, what else can they do? I wonder if this is like the end or if they're gonna make even more of these movies.
I'm not sure. They have a toy of the new one, that new monster thing.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Distortus Rex.
Interesting.
And it looks. Yeah, I'm sending it to you now.
Okay.
Need your reaction on the podcast.
Let's see. Distortus Rex. Oh my gosh. He looks special.
That's what I thought too.
That is an interesting looking thing.
Is it scary?
I mean, if it was standing right next to me, yes, but from viewing it on a screen, nah.
Okay. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, should I be scared of this? And then like, I saw in the movie, like the way it shows it, it's like it's kind of ginormous and scary. But like this thing is so ugly. It
That's
looks like it's carrying a lot of water in the
it looks like it's a
front.
Pokemon that fell out of the ball on its head.
Hmm.
Now, Emily, my wife, doesn't love all the movies and shows that we love to the same extent, but one franchise that she absolutely loves is Jurassic Park. And we got a screening pass to go see that, so we're gonna go see that, and I'll report back and let you know how stupid that thing looks on screen.
Yeah. I well, like there's a part of me that's like, man, that it might be scary looking, like if they make it CGI and it's as big as like a three-story building, like it looks like in the
Yeah, maybe
like
just the
it
toy
look
looks stupid.
yeah. Well, it's just a really funny design for the head.
Yeah, that was
And,
a
you know,
choice.
and why you're keeping the little arms is what I don't really understand if you have the big giant dumb ones, but
Right.
whatever.
That is weird
I
to
mean, it's
have.
scary because it's like a T-Rex with like arms that can reach things, right?
That
So like,
is scary.
yeah, which is scary in itself, but why are you gonna make its head look like a beluga whale?
That's I couldn't think of it, but that's it right there.
It is. It's like a beluga whale, teeth.
And
The teeth crack me up, actually.
a T-Rex body and proportionate arms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But also two extra long arms.
Yeah.
I can't stop laughing at this stupid thing. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, moving on. Lots of good stuff coming this summer. Well, moving on with Marvel, they showed an Avengers Doomsday behind the scenes photo, and in this photo, it had Simu Liu as Shang-Chi and James Marsden as Cyclops together. So I thought that was kind of an interesting photo to see.
It's cute.
So cute.
Yeah, James Morrison's cute.
Right? Oh, and the latest Fantastic Four trailer that they released, I'm sure you saw that. Did you get a glimpse of the Thing with his big rock beard, just like in the comics?
Yeah, yeah, I did. It was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. And they kept joking to him about, say the thing. And he's like, I'm not saying the thing. They only say that in the cartoon.
Yeah,
They wanted him to shout its clobbering time. I wonder
yeah.
how that's going to play out. Like, are they going to tease him about it the whole movie? It's going to be
No,
funny.
it's gonna be like Avengers Assemble,
Oh, you're
where
right.
we're not gonna hear it until the very end
Oh,
battle,
yeah.
my guess.
You're right. They probably won't say it in this movie, but then maybe in one of the Avengers movies down the road, he'll say it.
Yeah, maybe they'll make us wait 10 years.
Right? Let's see. Oh, the latest Spider-Man Brand New Day rumors. It sounds like Spidey at some point is going to have to face off with a very angry Hulk. And I wonder, I feel like that's happened in the comics before, and he has to help calm him down a bit or something, but that'll be kind of fun to see if that's true.
Yeah, it's happened several times.
Yeah. And speaking of that movie, we know that the Punisher is going to show up in it. That's been officially announced. Well, the filming of his Punisher special presentation begins next month. So in July, they're going to start filming it. And it sounds like the main villain is going to be this female character called Ma Nucci, who's, I guess, a female mob boss.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've read way more Marvel than me, so maybe you know who this character is. But
No, not really.
yeah, but that's who the main villain of the series is going to be. But it's cool that they're finally, announcing, like, yeah, we're recording it next month. The final thing with Marvel is they announced that they've greenlit this mysterious project that we have no details about, but the project is called Thor Quest. So I wonder what that could be all about.
Thor Quest.
Yeah, that's kind
Huh.
of the code name they're calling it without giving out any official details right now.
Thor Quest.
I wonder if we'll finally get something that has to do with Beta Ray Bill. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Thor stuff that would be Thor like Quest. Maybe they're gonna do the thing where Thor is everything moved to Oklahoma yet in the MCU?
I don't know.
Or is it just like Asgard is just I don't remember what happens at the end of Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, it's like the new Asgard, and Valkyrie's kind of their president or whatever you want to call it, and they
Yeah,
have their
but I'm
own.
trying to think where it's at.
Is it? I feel like it's near Norway or something. Maybe I'm wrong though.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's he's rebuilding Asgard and quest for that. I don't know.
What if Jane Foster dies at the end, and Heimdall as well? What if it's like a quest to Valhalla or something?
Yeah, maybe. Not sure.
But yeah, there's a new Thor project coming, and as always, everything they bring, I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah, I would like to see something a little bit more serious. That's when we know we're getting that already. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, over with DC, as we mentioned earlier, we're getting so close to this Superman movie. There's a lot of stuff they're throwing out there. They've been having some premieres, and a handful of lucky people have already seen this movie. So I'm trying to avoid anything on the internet that if I can tell it's Superman related, I try not to read it past the headline, don't want to spoil it. And one of the things that they recently released, and I talked about it a little bit in the past, was this prequel novel called Welcome to Metropolis. And on the cover, it says an official DC Studios novel. It's in canon or whatever, but this book, it's about 140 pages, and it's kind of the very beginning. Like, Superman is just in Metropolis, just for the first time, and he's trying to get a job at the Daily Planet, and he meets Perry White and Lois and Jimmy and all those guys for the first time, and it introduces you to the Justice Gang, which is, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific. And it introduces you to Lex Luthor, who's super evil. But the community, of course, thinks he's this great philanthropist, humanitarian. And the main villain of this story, or I guess the main bad guy he has to fight with, because the main villain's Lex, but it's Metallo. And it was just a neat little story. They put it together well. You see Clark, get the job at the Daily Planet and meet Lois and Jimmy. And obviously, Lois is this very pushy, go getter kind of a person to climb her way forward in the industry. And that's kind of hard at first because Clark is just, a country boy and he's kind and all this stuff. And anyway, it's a cool book. And by no means would anyone have to read this to enjoy the movie, but it was cool to just kind of see some of that stuff and then knowing the movie's coming out in a couple weeks. So I'm kind of glad I read it.
That's awesome.
There's been a bunch of TV spots they've been putting out lately. Did you see the one where Superman crashes into Lex's office and he's like, "Where's the dog?" Like, and he's screaming his guts out at Lex. Have you seen that TV spot yet?
Yeah, I have.
When he gets all close and he's like, "He's just a dog," and Lex whispers something kind of like a jerk. Then he's like, "What did you say?" And he's like, "What? Huh?" I don't know. This is going to be the most comic booky Superman movie that we've ever seen, and I'm so excited about it.
That's amazing.
I did read, speaking of spoilers, this isn't really a spoiler, but I read that there's going to be two post-credit scenes in this movie. And I did not read any details into what they were or anything like that, but someone did say they don't really move the plot forward the way that you think a Marvel's post-credit scene would. They're both just kind of funny and related to the movie itself, not future movies, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
I also read that Lex Luthor from this movie, played by Nicholas Hoult, he's going to be an important character in future projects beyond just this Superman movie, which makes sense. If you read, comic books, these characters cross over all the time, and the things they do spill over into other stories all the time. But it sounds like his Lex is going to be kind of important in multiple projects.
I would assume so. Like they want to build more characters. That the one thing Marvel has done wrong movie wise is just the fact that how many villains they blow through. I feel like I think
Yeah, make them one and done.
yeah, they've done that a lot, and I think it would be better if they didn't do that.
Yeah. Let's see, my last thing with DC this week. The past couple of months, there's been this comic book out there. It's called Sonic X DC, and it's somehow the Sonic the Hedgehog characters and the DC Comics characters, their worlds have collided because of some stuff that Darkseid did and the multiverse and all this. It's a cute little Elseworlds book, but the thing that I thought was cool for me is they're making Target exclusive Funko Pops of these characters, and I think it's Knuckles is dressed like Superman, and maybe Sonic is the
Okay,
Flash, and they put a preview image of these online, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did not know I needed these, but I definitely do.
that's awesome.
If anything, I have to at least get the Knuckles dressed as Superman. It just looks so cool.
I wonder how many are they doing?
Six of them, and from what I can recall, I'm not looking at the picture right now. Knuckles dressed as Superman, Sonic dressed as Flash, Amy was dressed as Wonder Woman, Tails was dressed as Cyborg, and two of the other characters were dressed as. There's a character dressed as Batman and a character dressed as Green Lantern. I think Shadow might have been Batman, and I'm not sure who's dressed as Green Lantern, but those are the six mashups, and they look so cool.
Whoa,
So
you're running out of room.
oh, I know. When we kind of rearranged our house the last few weeks, I had to just to make room. Some of my pops are kind of stacked, doubled up, if that makes sense. Like all the pops you see, there's even more pops behind them that you can't see, and I just had to prioritize which ones I wanted visible. So I'll have to do that
Yeah,
again if I get any more. Over with Star
heck.
Wars, there's not a whole lot of news this week. The actress that plays Shin Hati in the Ahsoka series was in an interview, and they asked her a lot of questions about the show, of course. And all the info she really gave was that season two is going to dive a little bit further into her backstory, but it's also going to wind up being this very big Star Wars Rebels reunion. And I'm totally here for that because that was one of my favorite series.
That's awesome.
All right, so now, Taylor, tell us a little bit about what's going on in the world of wrestling.
So, as you all know from last week, Night of Champions, which is in Saudi Arabia, happened Saturday, not night. It was daytime here, night there. So it was started around like 1 o'clock for us. King of the Ring champion was Cody Rhodes, wins King of the Ring over Randy Orton. Jade Cargill wins Queen of the Ring.
Nice.
Yeah, which was awesome. She actually dressed in an outfit to make her look like Storm from X-Men, and it was really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Because like all the women when they go to Saudi Arabia have to wear like full body suits. You can't
Yeah.
have any skin showing. So she wore like a storm outfit. It was really awesome. Rhea Ripley won her street fight. Sami Zayn won against Karrion Kross. Solo Sikoa with a lot of low blows and trickery won the American title from Jacob Fatu. And then John Cena again holds the title still and is still a heel and a bad guy. So we'll see how much further that goes on his retirement tour. And then they introduced a new wrestler. Hikulo, I believe is how you say it. Hikuleo.
Okay.
And the returning Tongaloa, he has been out for like a while for injury. This guy is a wrestler from New Japan. I think he's like close to 7 foot tall. He's very, very tall guy, humongous guy. And usually what happens is wrestlers go to NXT, and he went straight from New Japan Wrestling, which is another promotion. So yeah, that was it was a great night of champions, and I'm excited to see where they're going to take those storylines.
Cool. Any news about some video game stuff this week?
No, everybody's just waiting for Death Stranding 2, it looks like. And then there was a big patch for Mario Kart, I guess.
Oh, nice.
So if you have Mario Kart and you're having any issues or anything like that, looks like that's going to be fixed.
Yeah. People have been asking me, are you getting the Switch too? And I keep telling the same answer, not yet or anything like that. I'm in no rush to get it until they make a new Zelda game. But have you seen the trailer for that new Donkey Kong game?
Yeah, that was kind of my selling point for that system was that game, the new card game, and a new party game.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, open world Donkey Kong? Oh my gosh. This one looks so cool. Yeah, the trailer just made me second guess my maybe I'll wait till Zelda mindset.
Yeah,
Most likely I'm gonna wait till a new Zelda, but man, that is when I finally break down and get one, that is a game I'm for sure gonna have to get.
yeah. I haven't played the last two Zelda games. I need to borrow those from you to play them.
Oh, you definitely do. They're so good. And I think for the first time ever, it's a Zelda game. Well, not the first time ever, because Majora's Mask kind of spins out of Ocarina of Time, but the Tears of the Kingdom spins right out of Breath of the Wild. It's a literal continuation, and it's awesome. So good.
It's awesome.
Well, let's see. To round off this episode, a little bit more news out there. This past week was not only my birthday, I'm 40 and I'm ancient now, but it's my daughter George's birthday. She is 9 now, almost those double digits. And what she wanted to do for her birthday was go see that new Disney movie Elio with a couple friends.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. Is it good?
Yeah, I took her and a couple friends and her cousin, and I'm gonna be honest, as a parent, two or three scenes in this movie tore me up.
Okay.
It definitely brought some tears to the eyes.
All
And
right.
but plot wise, it's funny. It's very funny, and it's very well done, and it has a great voice cast. And I mean, it's just another Disney Pixar hit. It was good, I thought.
That's awesome.
Let's see, a little bit more news. There's a new Young Sherlock series in the works that's going to be coming out of Prime Video.
Yeah, and a new Young Frankenstein series
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I
Let's
know. I'm excited for both.
let's see. We talked a little bit last time about some James Bond rumors and stuff. The latest rumor is that folks are eyeballing Tom Holland to be the next James Bond. And again, just a rumor. Don't know of how much truth is behind it. But I mean, I guess if they want a younger dude, that could work.
He'd have to be a gadget Bond. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. And this one seemed like a report, not a rumor. But Killian Murphy, he was the Scarecrow in the Christian Bale Batman movies, and he was in Oppenheimer and all that stuff. Sounds like he might be playing the next Bond villain.
That works.
That totally works. And then let's see. Oh, the Fast and the Furious never-ending franchise. They just announced they're going to put their final installment out in April 2027.
Liars.
Yeah, I know.
Liars. I
That's the first
don't
thing I
believe
thought
it.
too.
Liars.
They're in no rush to wrap that up. But according to their
No,
article,
why would you? There's so much money. It's like a horror franchise at this point. Just keep going with it. It'll get weirder and better, and then it'll get worse, and then it'll get weird and good again.
right. And then you'll have
Yeah.
superpowers and The Rock.
Yeah, also they haven't been to space yet, I don't think. So you need
Definitely
to
got to do
do
that.
one in space.
Yeah. To the moon. Oh, the live action Lilo and Stitch movie. It grossed over 923 million, so it's almost reached $1 billion. And because of that, they've already greenlit a sequel Lilo and Stitch live action movie.
Okay, I'm not mad at it.
Financially speaking, at this point in its run, it's the best one. It's beat every other live action movie financially.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's good. A lot of those
Yeah,
live action
that
movies
does
aren't
make a
that good.
difference.
Make a good movie. I mean, I think really when it comes down to Disney, it's just make it make sense.
Yep.
If I don't need it at all, it's like, why are we doing this? Like the last time Snow White, like that movie, the original Snow White, you know when it came out?
Like the 30s, something like that.
1942 or something like that,
Yeah.
around there. That story is no longer, it doesn't work the same. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Maybe it isn't, but nobody wants that. Nobody was like, you know what? We need another Snow White movie. It's like, no,
Right.
it's not popular IP. Like it just isn't. It hasn't been popular IP in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And then past that, the last time I saw Snow White stuff that was popular was in the 90s when they did like dopey t-shirts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
or grandma or grandpa shirts that would be like grumpy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was, it hasn't been popular in that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my last little bit of news for this week, speaking of Disney, we know that it sounds like Doctor Who is no longer going to be part of Disney starting the next season, but the show itself is not finishing, and it sounds like the latest contenders for the rights are somewhere between Netflix and HBO Max. It sounds like one of those two might be negotiating right now to pick it up, and it's all going to turn out to be who gives the best money offer, I guess. I don't know.
I wonder, well, it's not like they couldn't make money off that. I wonder where they're selling it.
I don't know. Because as a fan of the show, I thought it was great this year, but who knows what the reasoning really is. To me, the story stayed amazing, so that's all that mattered to me. That show's gonna wind up possibly on Netflix or HBO Max. I'm just happy it's not going anywhere. And even if some streaming service didn't pick it up, it's still gonna be out there on the BBC, so people could find a way to watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is all the news for the week. You guys get prepared for all this cinematic goodness coming our way. I'm so excited about Superman and Fantastic Four and even Jurassic Park. But hey, as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
And Taylor Oxner.
And come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.